up, YouTube community? My name is Katula Kranima. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm gonna be talking about how to animate using Photoshop. Yes, I know Photoshop is commonly a software for digital illustration and whatnot, but it can also be a software for some simple 2D animation. And yep, this is exactly what I'm going to be covering in this particular video. I'm gonna be doing a very simple animation that anybody can attempt to do within like 30 minutes or less, and I'm going to be animating a school days character called Emma, and yeah, let's try to have fun with it. So the first thing to do once you open Photoshop and your intention is to animate, go to the Windows tab and click on motion. Windows tab, workspace, motion, and then a timeline will come on your computer, on your interface, and on the timeline there will be a function in the center called create frame animation. Click on that function and voila, you will have a timeline. Now the timeline is going to help you arrange your frames, and the way you arrange your frames also determines how your animation is going to run. So the first frame in the timeline is considered as the first layer, so you kind of stock up layers depending on the frames and the illustrations made to create the illusion of movement or the illusion of life. And yeah, let's get started. I have not done this in such a long time. I'm actually doing this because a student of mine that has been learning how to draw comic books for a long time asked that I teach him a little bit of animation, and I thought that starting him off with the basics would be the best way. So he was trying to go with the simplest animation style that there is and the basics of let's say framing, composition, pacing, and also storytelling in animation, because well, storytelling is a backbone for great animations, great comic books, and great stories, great films, great performances of all time. So yeah, with this introduction to animation, the main focus should be creating the illusion of movement. So try something that is very simple, something that will not frustrate you. So here I'm just gonna do a simple head movement or head motion of my character Emmanuel from my school days comic book series. And yeah, as you can see, it is something that is taking me a while to remember because I haven't done this in a long time. Like I said, I mostly focus on comic books, but I do animation from time to time. My go-to software for animation is, however, Animate Pro. I don't use TV Paint, and I'm not a huge fan of Toon Boom as well. I am very used to Adobe and Adobe products. I find them very easy and very intuitive for me to learn, and I'm also a big believer in using the tools that you're comfortable with and know the best. And I feel comfortable using Photoshop and Animate Pro for animation. Every once in a while I will even use Premiere Pro for compositing or After Effects. But for the sake of introduction, I just wanted to create the illusion of movement. It's a very simple thing to try. You can try it any day, anytime, and you won't even spend a lot of time on it. I've not bothered with coloring because that's gonna take some time, and the whole purpose of this video was to just create the illusion of movement, and yeah, it's there. I'm but I've only done keyframes, and uh, maybe later when I make another video, I'll talk about what a keyframe is and what in-betweens are and what frames are and what frames are necessary for what type of action and what frames are necessary for what type of scenery and whatnot. I'll get deeper into that, but as I mentioned in the channel introduction, my main focus is how to draw comic books and how to make films. Last the podcast on how to survive the creative industry. So that's it for today's video. Hope you had fun. Hope you learned a little bit extra in using Photoshop for animation. Hope you have fun practicing this. You can actually do a whole animation form using just Photoshop if you are really dedicated. But it's very important that you break down the workload so that you don't break your computer along the way, because despite what it looks like, Photoshop is a very, very heavy software and it requires that your computer have a lot of space. So after a major scene, save, start another scene from a completely new project file, do the scene, finish it, save, do the same for the rest of the scenes in your story or animation until it's all done. Then proceed to coloring and then composites using Photoshop if you want to, but I don't recommend it. I recommend you composite using Premiere Pro or After Effects. And if your animation involves voice acting, prioritize getting the voice acting fast. That way the animation will be true to the voice acting. It will be in perfect synchronicity. Again, I'm not supposed to say all of this. This is for a new video, because when you get to the nuances of animation, there is a lot to talk about. And I'm not even an animation major. I just know this stuff because, well, I was curious when I was learning digital arts and I just wanted to see how to do everything that I wanted or ever dreamed of. And so animation is simply one of those few skills I picked up out of curiosity to learn and the mentality that I can actually learn anything I set my mind to. So yeah, this is introduction to animation using Photoshop. Maybe in the future I'll also do a very simplified version of animation, especially for comic books, just for marketing purposes. Um, I'll I'll be talking about in future videos how to market your comic books and how to market your films in the digital space. But it's easier to market your film in the digital space than it is for a comic book, because at least film contains both sound and picture. Well, comic books contain only picture, no sound. So to better explain them and their worth to a potential buyer or a potential sponsor, they need to be able to grasp the story very quickly. So we have found that putting words or voice acting the comic book the way it is supposed to be read is a fun and engaging way to get new people interested in your comic book and in the story that you're trying to tell and the narrative you're driving towards. So I'll get into that later on, but for now, thank you for watching. I hope you've picked up a few things here and there. I hope you've had fun, because I can say this, my student was not having fun throughout this entire process. It confused him, and yeah, he needs to do it confused him, and I could see that he was confused, but there was nothing I could do about it because I needed to finish this in less than an hour and then explain to him all the steps that I had to go through to do something as simple as this. And hopefully if he keeps trying, he's gonna get used to this. Obviously, if you understand this simple basic concept of animation, it is easier for you to then pivot and go to new softwares like TV Paint, Tone Boom, Krita, or even Animate Pro. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and just in case you like this video, thank my students, because I would not have otherwise done it if he didn't want to learn this. See you next time. Stay good, drink a lot of water, and do whatever it takes in your capacity to make the world a better place.